My name is Łukasz Mężyk. I'll be your attendant on this short flight. Thank you, Alex, for your inspiring conversation about CivTech. May I introduce our next guests, Minister Paweł Gruza, Vice Minister of Finance, Janusz Cieszyński, Vice Minister of Health, and Alexander, whom you already know. Please take your seats, gentlemen. May I start maybe with you?
Thank you very much.
If you could say us in one sentence, what is GovTech?
Okay.
Because we are, you know, it's been very recent in Poland once we are familiar with this, once the Prime Minister Morawiecki decided to champion GovTech across Polish administration. What it is?
Okay. So in the same way that you have FinTech for financial technology, EdTech for education, MedTech for medical, GovTech is obviously geared towards government. And the theme of all these X-techs is that of disruption. It's about doing things differently. So GovTech is about innovative technology delivered in the government frame for delivery of public services that fundamentally delivers a better outcome for citizens.
Do you think the state can be like Amazon, like Google, to provide the services in a way that it is a new experience for the end user, for the citizen?
Well, in some respects, it is. Depending on your digital capabilities and how your platforms work, absolutely. So there's an expression around government as a platform, providing that base for services to extract data in a secure way to then deliver those services in a stack to citizens. But yes, absolutely.
When you see what is happening what's been happening in Poland with the GovTech, do you think it's quite unique that the Prime Minister himself is a champion of this process?
I think that puts you in a hugely advantageous position, because any change is difficult, and if you have leadership from the top that says, yeah, we are going to commit to this, then that absolutely helps incredibly. So, you know, you're in a hugely fortunate position. When we started out 3 years ago, you know, I was scrabbling around to knock on people's doors, and it took me 146 meetings to get CivTech off the ground. The fact you have your Prime Minister staying right from the start, yesterday opening the conference saying, GovTech Poland is coming, that's excellent.
Mr. Gruza, how this journey started in Poland with the GovTech? Because I think the Ministry of Finance was the first that put so much emphasis on the new technologies to get the money for the state, actually, to close the loopholes, to combat mafia.
Sure. Well, how we understand GovTech is building a bridge between the government, the needs of administration, and talented people across the fence in private sector. And we have to be much more flexible than years before. How did the work started? Well, first of all, we created a team of people with a new mindset within the ministry. Obviously, person is one of them, but it's a whole array of people, directors, vice directors, political cabinet. And I think we assumed a critical mass in which we could change the mindset of the old administration, and that really pushed things forward, and now we're in a totally different situation, and we can think of much deeper stuff like this GovTech, bridging the gap between administration and private talent.
Have you participated in this hackathon that was really eyes-opening?
Yes, we did participate in a hackathon, which is a very peculiar event where talented IT persons, programmers.
Are crowded in the same place, on the
they're
same
put
floor.
in one location overnight, and they have to solve very difficult problems. We put one of the problems to their solutions, and we actually recruited great programmers from this event. This is one way we can think of GovTech, but in reality, we destroyed their ability to create their own companies. And what a gentleman from Scotland is trying to do is to actually facilitate creation of small companies, startups that can work with administration and help solve our problems.
Alex, does such a process as GovTech drives innovation?
Does it?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. You know, it's important that you need to open, the civil service needs to open its minds up to new ways of doing things and new technologies. What we've got to remember is this is not really about technology. What this is about is delivering better outcomes. And it so happens that technology can be delivered in such a way now that makes it far faster, better, easier for these services to be delivered. But can it drive innovation? Absolutely.
Because we spoke once we met before this conversation, we spoke about Mariana Mazzucato's book,
Yeah.
that the state is really kind of an investor in growing startup environment.
Yes. So have people heard of Mariana Mazzucato? Yeah. So anyone who's interested in innovation and state, she wrote a brilliant book about 4 years
But
ago.
please know that quite many, because she went to Poland
Of
last
course,
year.
that's
Yeah.
right, yes. So, you know, that's all about the state being behind innovation and being the springboard to create businesses and using the purchasing power of the public purse to be able to be not as laggards in innovation, but leaders. That's the opportunity for governments right now.
And I think what is important, what is the most important for everybody, for each of us, is health. So, do you think, I ask Janusz Cieszyński, Vice Minister of Healthcare, would you think that the processes combined with your area can be tracked like we track a parcel on post offices?
I didn't
The
hear.
track,
Yeah.
that can we use this like log in into the system and track the process with, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Definitely yes. I knew I had to participate in GovTech because the one and only time since I was appointed in January, when my boss called me and told me like, come here right now, was when I tried to do a pilot of an analytical system that was designed by a Polish company, a Polish startup from Wrocław, and I wanted to do data analytics with them, and somebody told my boss, oh, he's just going to give out our entire database somewhere outside, and he was not happy about that. And how I look at GovTech is a framework that's designed for us to absorb innovation within the public sector. And the public sector has its rights, and one of them is that there has to be a framework, a way, which is designed and is in the legal system, which shows us how we should do that. And it's very good to see that the plans for a new procurement law in Poland also want to incorporate GovTech as one of the ways to buy things for the public administration. So I'm definitely happy that this is an ongoing initiative, and I'm definitely going to participate in it. And I have actually we already have a few challenges which we would like to solve through GovTech.
What is the most important process that you're working now?
We have two most important processes, I think. One is data analytics to improve how we see the system, because right now we had a big conference on health in Warsaw yesterday, and one of the professors from Kraków showed us the dashboard of the Minister of Health, and the dashboard was empty. No signs, nothing. And this was, of course, a bit exaggerated, but this very well illustrates that we do not have all the data that we should have to spend over 80 billion zloty of funds from NFZ, and a further about 20 billion from other sources every year. So this is a giant, and we want to increase funding, and we'll go to 6% GDP, and we need to know that we're spending the money well. So that's one thing. We need to have very good data analytics, and we have to be able to connect many sources of data which are out there somewhere, and we might not even know of all of them where they are. So that's one thing. And the second thing is user experience for patients. I mean, I think everyone here who has ever registered for a private doctor has done it online. And we still do not have this as an industry standard within the public sector. And I'm very, very certain that if we use new technologies for facilitating these challenges in terms of how to make appointments, how to find the nearest doctor, maybe I don't even need to go to the doctor. I just take out my phone, I call him on Skype, and he says, well, you're sick, and your prescription's already on your account, and your sick leave is also in ZUS, and that's it. You can go home and just get better.
What's the most important, because yesterday the website govtech.gov.pl went on air, if you can say so, and there are some best practices of your already working. What is the most interesting thing that Ministry of Finance is engaged within this process?
Well, we're limited to the number of issues we can try to solve with GovTech. We were discussing earlier, we have critical data in our servers, and we cannot risk spilling this information. So we can use GovTech initially for less critical areas where the security is not paramount. One of those areas is automatic analysis of X-rays for transports coming into Poland to find guns, illegal drugs, illegal armaments, fuel, cigarettes. These are the things that young programmers can thrive on and help us eliminate from terrorism to tax fraud and customs fraud. We have many areas. We have to wisely choose the ones we put into GovTech, not to risk our critical data.
So there are 2 points about that. Firstly, the set of the 6 challenges that you've launched, I think are really, really good challenges. They cover a spectrum, and something like checking for borders. Well, if you get that right, that's going to be bought by a lot of other countries. So the potential to focus in that area is really good. Secondly, the point about not doing the critical stuff first. When you're trying stuff, new processes and procedures, you don't want to tackle the critical stuff first, because if you do, and it doesn't quite go according to plan, that kills the idea. You want to test this on the less critical stuff, and we did that the same. The flood warning is not a sort of a massive health risk unless it's in extreme conditions. So you try out the stuff, see how it goes, work with collaborative participants to see how the process works, and then you go more critical. And that's certainly the lesson that we had.
And the same question to you, Janusz, about the most interesting pilot project that Ministry of Health is engaged with.
The most interesting project from the challenges that we proposed. Yes, I think that this is the one that's focused on analytics. On analytics that we want to make part of our data, which I think we might have in volumes as significant as the Ministry of Finance. We just don't know it yet. So what we need to do is we want to anonymize a part of the data and put it out there for teams that would be willing to analyze the data in two aspects. First of all, fraud detection, and second of all, better health. Because sometimes, if you discover, for instance, in oncology, if you discover the disease earlier, then you can treat it better. And if we would be able to track the process of the treatment and improve it in a way, we could achieve a very significant health effect. And while I understand the point of not doing critical things, that's true, but this is, for us, in many aspects of the analytics, it's terra incognita, so it's potentially critical, but still, any improvement we make is an improvement. Yeah. So even if we don't make it all right at the beginning, it'll still be a step in the right direction.
Absolutely.
Alexander, last question, because the time is already up. Does the technology helps democracy? Does the Gov technology preserves democracy? Can you say so? Philosophical question and very short.
Now that's were I not a civil servant, I might have a different answer if you look at how social media activity has the potential to influence elections. So one might say that on one hand it doesn't, but on the other hand, if you then start addressing voter participation through secure online voting using distributed ledger technologies or blockchain, then yes, absolutely. So
very good answer. Thank you.
Thank you.